What's up guys? In today's video I'm going to teach you and I'm going to show you how to handle and how to use requests. So for example, a post request, a form, a post form, a get form, how to deal with that in Django. You're going to see that is something very simple, and yeah, let's get to that. So what is the first thing that we have to do? First of all, we have to set the URL for that post. And let me show you first something, which is the minor change that I have done in the web page. So in the web page, what I have added is just a small form in which here you put you put a score and that's it. You just do that. So for example, if we put now here a score, we put here 10 and we give it a score, we have a problem because this URL is not implemented and we are not doing nothing with it. So for example, as you can see here, this URL is composed by film, Spiderman, the URL, the slug, and here post score. So let me show you this better here, and that's it. So for example, we call to post score, but we still have the slug, so we can do later some things. But this is the form. It is very simple. So let's continue. So we have to come to the URL and use that URL. So here in this URL file, the one of catalog, what we have to do is to put post score and this slash. So now here, since we are going to create a function for this, we need to, for example, call it post score, and here we put this post score. So now the URL is set, but we haven't implemented this function. So we have to implement that function. We can come here to the views file and create the function called def post score, and if you remember, all the functions receive a request, but this one receives something else, which is the slug. As you can see here, we have here the slug, so this view is going to receive also a slug. So if we continue, we can create this function, and this function is going to be very simple. First of all, we have to access the value that we introduced here. So how do we access to this value? If we go to the form, we can see that the input that contains that value is this one, and this one has the name score. So we have to access to that value through this name. How do we do this? So we have, oh my god, let me open this here. We have to come to the views.py here, and let's say that the score is equal to, okay, we take the request, we are going to take the post dictionary because this contains all the values in the post dictionary, all the values of the post form, and now here, since this is a dictionary, we can say, okay, get and give me the score, because we have put the name of the input as a score. So we have to put here a score, which is the name of the input. And now that we have this score, what we can do is that we can get the film, because we have this slug, and we can say, okay, give me the objects of the film, and I want the specific one which has this slug. So now what we have here, this, you have to also remember that this returns a query set, which is a list, and in this case this list is going to contain just one element. So what I'm going to do is that, hey, give me the first element. So now that you have this, what you have to do is to check if the score is not none, because it's possible that the user doesn't introduce anything and press the button. But yeah, so we can put here if a score is none. We can now call a method in the film model, but we need to create now that method. So for example, we can call the method set score, and here we can send the integer value of the score. Let me put this here. So let's create that, and for creating that, the thing that we have to do is that we have to come here to the film model, which is here, and here we have to create the method set score that receives the self and also the value. Let's put here a score. So this is going to be very simple. We are just going to set the score to the last score that someone puts. Here score, And now here this method doesn't need to return anything, but we can do this, which is saving the current model. So for that, that is the thing that we have to do. And now we want that whenever we introduce a score, we want to stay in this page. We don't want to go anywhere else. We want to stay here. So for that, what we need to do is that we need to redirect the user. Well, in order to redirect, you have to import this function from the Django shortcuts. And here is not only this, you have to return. And what you need to redirect is to the URL of the film. So from this film, we need to get the URL. How do we do this? In models, we can also create another method to get the absolute URL. So how do we do this? Absolute URL. How do we do this? It is truly very simple. We are going to put here return reverse. We need to also import reverse, which is from Django URLs. We don't need the base. So from Django URLs, we are going to import reverse. And now we need to put the name of the URL that we want to send. But here we have to come to the URLs. And since this is a film detail view, we have to return this name. Well, we have to give this name. So here we put film. And now we have to say the keywords. And since this URL only needs one thing, which is the slug, we just need to send the slug. So this is a dictionary, and we put here a slug, 2 dots, and here we just send the value of the slug. And that's it. That's how we generate the URL. So now in the views.py here, we just have to do film get absolute URL. And I think that that's all. So what we need to do now is to do python 3 manage.py run server. And now if we go to the page, let's close the other windows, and here we are going to go to Spider-Man. Of course, we are going to give it a 10. So as you can see, the mark was updated and is here. So for example, if we give it now a 8, we have here 8, and that's very cool. So if we give here a 7, we have a 7. So for example, let's go to the Doctor Strange film, and here if we give this a 9, we have the last mark, which is a 9. And yeah, that was everything. That's how you deal with forms and all that in Django. As you can see, it's just taking the dictionary. And if you understood how to do it, give it a like, share, subscribe, and see you in the next one.